So what? But what they didn't like is the pressure. Suddenly the Élysée told them to keep it low.
A high-ranking police source confirmed to us Patrick Chauvel's claims that illegal drugs were found in the car and the existence of the speed camera photo, which has never been produced. Some evidence seems to have gone missing. Some evidence doesn't seem to have been followed up. In the files, we also found this photograph, taken between 20 and 22 minutes past midnight.
There is one picture or two which is obviously taken from before the car. Somebody has to drive before the car to take that picture, especially since you see Trevor Jones looking into the mirror. But I can't say exactly where that picture was taken. It was obviously taken somewhere in the tunnel, but I can't say if it's in the beginning of the tunnel or in the middle or after some sort of accident or whatever.
But it's taken in the Alma tunnel?
Yes.
So who took this photo? We may never know. Arrest for manslaughter, but was still charged with failure to help the victims. The inquiry had leaked Henri Paul was drunk. Then another new development, which appeared to explain how the accident happened. The police said they'd found debris from a white Fiat Uno in the tunnel. It was suggested the Fiat was in front of the Mercedes.
The Mercedes wing mirror was found at this point, with traces of another car's paintwork and shards of a Fiat tail light. The Mercedes was thrown into the right-hand wall, then hurled across into the 13th pillar in the middle of the tunnel.
The police started a massive search operation, but only questioned owners of white Fiat Unos in the Paris area. They drew a blank. But Al Fayed's detectives did better and tracked down this Fiat Uno. Its rear tail light had been fixed, and it belonged to a paparazzi.
La princesse. Et voilà, viens.
His name was James Anderson. His past was even more mysterious than Henri Paul's. During the summer, Diana had been photographed by James Anderson. He was a paparazzi with political connections at the highest level. He was the official photographer to one French Prime Minister, and friendly enough with another, Lionel Jospin, to share a motorbike with him. Yet French Special Branch was so worried by his history, they'd started to investigate him, as one of their senior officers revealed to us.
Au mois d'août 97, nous avons pu apprendre qu'il avait passé plusieurs jours sur le yacht où se trouvait la princesse et Al-Fayed, ce qui franchement n'est pas très normal, n'est pas très courant pour un journaliste. Il était sur le yacht même. Et pas une heure, mais il y aurait passé sans doute 2 ou 3 jours. Oui, ce sont des sources fiables.
Richard Tomlinson recalls a figure like Anderson in MI6.
The MI6 have a cadre of people who have their own profession, their own life, they do their own jobs. They can be barristers, they can be all sorts of things, who just happen to have a skill which is occasionally useful to MI6, and they kind of work on a short-term contractual basis for MI6. They had one guy who was a photographer, and his normal job was as a paparazzi photographer, but occasionally he would do work for MI6.
French security services had evidence Anderson was in the Alma tunnel.
Et il se serait vanté, dans son entourage, quelque temps après, d'avoir même donc photographié et même enregistré, sans doute, les derniers instants, du moins sous le pont de l'Alma, de la princesse Diana. C'est un témoignage qu'on a recueilli dans son entourage.
The widow of one of Anderson's friends confirmed he had boasted to them he was at the scene.
Il m'a dit qu'il y était. Il nous a dit qu'il y était. Je suis là, oui, il a vu l'accident et tout ça. Il n'a pas été pris par la police. Il est parti parce qu'il était malin.
Vraiment, James Anderson avait de très fortes intuitions. Il avait l'art d'approcher de nombreuses personnalités qui ensuite sont mortes subitement.
French Special Branch became interested in Anderson when they noticed he'd been the last person to photograph and one of the last to talk with Pierre Bérégovoy, the French Prime Minister who killed himself in 1993.
James Anderson pouvait sans doute ne pas travailler seul et être manipulé ou dirigé soit par un service ou des services, soit par une équipe qui, à un certain moment, pouvait être chargé d'éliminer ou de gêner ou de compromettre une personnalité, et Andonson faisait sans doute office d'agent de renseignement. On a évoqué les liens que pouvait avoir Andonson avec des services anglais ou services français. Cela n'a jamais été formellement prouvé, mais c'est une hypothèse qu'il ne faut pas exclure. Et toutes ces suspicions sont nées des personnalités qu'il fréquentait, qui n'étaient pas des personnalités banales. Il y avait de nombreuses personnes liées, je vous ai dit tout à l'heure, au commerce international. Et puis il y a surtout les conditions absolument ahurissantes de sa mort, qui ont interpellé de nombreux observateurs et qui ont conduit à axer les recherches sur la véritable nature des activités d'Andonson.
In June 2000, Andonson apparently committed suicide by setting fire to himself in his car on this piece of army land. He left no suicide note. His body was found by French commandos. Both friends and even the funeral director are very skeptical that Andonson really killed himself. None of this was ever mentioned by the French inquiry.